It's December 5th, Saturday, 6:50 a.m. and I'm about to go to your house.
Just look at it! Would you just look at it? This selfie stick is really cool. It's like, woo! It's movable. And you would drive by your house. Oh my goodness, that is so beautiful. It's a red light, I gotta stop.
You're probably watching this video a little later. I don't know when. Either at our wedding date or sometime before that. Today's the day that I'm gonna ask you to marry me. I'm gonna ask you to be my wife. So, I'm super excited.
So Galina, will you marry me?
She marry you.
Oh, there you are. Will you marry me? Will you say yes or no? I think you're the cutest person alive. I love you so much. Why'd you go back?
Well, I made a surprise for Bogdan. He doesn't know where we're going.
So I've known Galina for a long time, many years, maybe like 8-7 years, ever since her family came to Second Slot Baptist Church, and I've always known her. I've always noticed her. Of course, I mean, how could you not notice such a beautiful girl? But some of my earliest memories of her was when we both used to go to Joseph Donchenka's small group.
We've been pretty casual friends, but to be honest, I never would have ever imagined anything between us.
And that was like a long time ago. It was a way long ago. I guess she sat on the other side of the room always at church, and she would always be the most active person in the small group. She would be asking the most ridiculous, controversial questions, and I remember I was always thinking, wow, what a girl. Like, she's not only beautiful, but also kind of feisty.
As the years progressed, I joined his small group.
So 3 years ago, I started a small group. 1 year into the small group, after I've already had it for a year, Galina and her sister and I think her younger brother started going to the small group.
I really liked the way youth services were going. I really liked the way he was presenting the Word of God through that.
And the first time when they came to small group, I was like, oh, Dushenkos are here, nice.
And then I text him, I'm like, hey, I really loved small group. Can we come next time? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then next time comes around Wednesday, and he doesn't text me the address. I'm like, okay, cool. I guess we can't come.
I wasn't expecting them to come every Wednesday. I thought they were just visiting.
But then I still text him because I'm really determined. I'm like, let's do this. So I text him. I'm like, hey, we really loved small group. Can we come this time around too? And so he gives me the address, and we go to the small group.
Throughout the small group, after we would do worship and we would study the Word, and we would just have tea with all the youth. Everyone who comes to small group would hang out. I would always talk to Galina, and we would always interact. We would talk about very interesting things, everything controversial to everything from theology to church to politics to the weather or whatever it was, we talked about it, and we had a really good time. I always enjoyed talking to her.
But again, nothing special. You know, we were just friends. I really respected him as a friend, a youth leader, a small group leader. And so then in August 2014, we, as a small group, we went to Santa Cruz.
Spend the day there at the beach and have a bonfire and have food. And it turns out that I had to pick up Christina and Galina. I had to pick up Galina and her sister from the Starbucks by their house, and I picked her up, and I was just driving, and the whole way there and then also the whole way back from Santa Cruz, me and Galina would talk.
I ended up sitting in the front, and the whole time for 3 hours we were just talking. We really clicked, really connected. We were just talking the whole time, and everybody else was just kind of, you know, listening, chiming in once in a while, but we really clicked.
We'd just be talking about the most interesting things. I don't know what it was, but it was so interesting that we talked the whole time. It was really fun, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and I guess that was the one. You know, I even at that moment I was like, yeah, she's a cool girl. She's just beautiful. She's godly. She loves God. She loves the church. You know, she's really interesting. But I still at that moment I wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna try to pursue her.
I was like, wow, this is a really, really, really cool guy. But again, didn't really think too much of it.
Galina was participating in this Bible competition called Most, and she was on one of the teams with my good friend was her leader.
A Bible competition happened, and we won 3rd place out of 4 teams.
And that was like the first time I really texted her.
He texted me a long message. He's like, oh, I thought you guys were gonna win. You guys did so well. Молодцы, you know, things like that.
From that day, I forgot what day it was, sometime in October, that we started texting every single day. I want to get to know her a little more and more. But then I was like, I couldn't resist. I was like, man, I'm texting her and we're talking and I'm at work and I'm texting her and I'm taking pictures of everything in my life and sending it to her. And
ever since that October 4th, I believe, October 4th, ever since then we've texted really, you know, long essays and all these things every single day practically, even up until now.
There came a time where I was like, man, what am I doing? Like, am I leading her on? Am I really interested in her? So I was like, okay, Bogdan, be a man, you know, call her, say, hey, I want to meet up, talk over coffee. And I was like, yeah. I was like, let's go out for coffee and I want to talk to you about something. And
Bogdan doesn't do that, you know. That's not a very common thing.
You know, later she told me, yeah, I already knew what you were gonna say.
Obviously, I knew that, you know, he liked me and I liked him.
I was so nervous. I was driving to her house. I was gonna pick her up, and I was like, I come to the house. I text her, hey, I'm at your house, and then she comes in the car, and I tell her, hey, should I ask your dad for permission to take you out? And she's like, no, just take me out.
We went to a coffee shop.
The most fanciest spot in all of Sacramento, the Starbucks by her house.
He sat across from me and he was so nervous and it was so cute. It was so adorable.
I told her, I was like, I have affections for you, I have feelings for you, but I was so nervous. I was sitting there for like 5-10 minutes. I was like, I don't know how to say this. I'm so nervous. And then it came out and I was like, I squeezed it out and I told her, I like you and I have feelings for you and I don't know how better to say this, but I want to start praying about us.
I knew what was happening and I was like, yay, this is awesome. So then he told me his intentions. It was very, very respectable the way he said it.
I want to pursue you and I want to pray about us and eventually, if it's God's will, to lead this into marriage. And
that was just so mature and just so godly. You know, for me, that was definitely something that I really wanted to see in a guy.
I mean, before this whole thing, I was praying to God, not just about my wife, not just to prepare someone for me, a godly woman, a godly young lady who loves God and loves to serve people and loves the church and who will love me. But I was praying to God more to prepare me to be a good husband, a future father, to prepare me to be a godly man who would lead my future wife, into a relationship that glorifies God.
I would be praying for my significant other, and the only thing I would pray about was that he would be a spiritual leader. And by that, I mean that he would lead me and maybe our potential future family. And
so when we talked that one time at Starbucks, and she had the same feelings for me, she liked me too, and we just prayed there. December 6th, 2014, we prayed, and I didn't think we were dating, but that was the day we started dating. But, we went on our first date a month later, after New Year's, after all the busyness, Christmas events, everything came down. We went on our first date, to Old Sac. Just walked around, took me out to dinner, went to El Dorado Hills. The most perfect date, the most perfect first date I could ever imagine. It was just, everything was just so thought out. Just enjoy the view of the city, and it was just really beautiful. And from then on, it was, we started dating, and it was just so great. So 3 months into the relationship, by February 2015, I already knew that I was like, man, this is the girl. I'm gonna marry this girl. I'm gonna ask her to marry me. But then it just, couldn't happen. I'm still busy with school and, just things are not right and not in place. So I had to wait a little bit. I had to save up a little bit of money and this and that. And we were approaching our 1-year anniversary. And I was like, I don't want her to guess that I'm going to propose to her on our 1-year anniversary. Because I asked her one time, I was like, hey, when do you think I'm going to propose to you? And she's like, probably on the 1-year anniversary. And I was like, okay, great, man. She's going to, I can't do that. But so then I'm a very sly guy, very deceiving. So I planned 3 dates, three out-of-town dates, and I told her every single date on these 3 trips, I'm going to take you out of town, and I'm going to give you a little gift. And And I was thinking, if she thinks I'm going to propose to her, she thinks I'm going to propose on the third date. And I was like, no, I'm going to propose to her on the second date. So first date, we drive out to the bay, went to this beach, and early morning had breakfast on the beach, and
A bonfire on the beach that, you know, he builds together, and it was just, everything was just so perfect.
My present for her was that I took a song and I kind of redid it, and I sang her a song, and every present was something I told her that I was going to make myself. And the second day, I told her, hey, I'm going to take you out to the snow somewhere in Tahoe, and you know, I told her I'm going to create another present for you. And I told her that, yeah, and I planned to I wrote her a poem. I wrote her a poem that was titled 1 year minus 1 day later, because it was 1 day before our 1 year anniversary. So it was going to be, we went out on the date on December 5th, 2015, 1 day shy of our year anniversary. And so the poem, you know, went something like 1 year minus 1 day later, I'm with a beautiful person under good weather. 1 year minus 1 day later, it's been this long that we've been together. 1 year minus 1 day later, I never thought time would fly by so fast. 1 year minus 1 day later, I did, however, know that we would always last.
He's reading the poem, and towards the end of the poem, some of the lines start to rhyme with "marry me." I was like, no, it's not gonna happen. It's too soon.
And so the last part of the poem, she doesn't know this. She doesn't know I'm going to propose. I was reading this from a piece of paper. 1 year minus 1 day later, there is one thing left to do. You see, 1 year minus 1 day later, and that is to ask you the question, will you marry me? And I get on the knee, and we're in Donner Lake, and it's beautiful. I'm on my one knee.
And I am just standing there, completely speechless. I was like...
And she's like, she's lost. She's like, she's so shocked. She doesn't know what to say. And then she's like,
yeah, of course, you know, yes. And I know, we get up. It's so crazy. And then they have this ring on my finger. And by the way, which is the most beautiful piece of jewelry I've ever seen in my life.
And, you know, and we hug and everything. And I record this whole thing, and it's a cool thing, because we always record the poems I read for her and the songs that I sing for her. We put a selfie stick, and we always record that. And so she was surprised. She didn't expect me to propose at the end of this poem. And so I proposed, and she said yes, and I'm the happiest guy alive. And we are so happy today that we are finally married and together as husband and wife, as Mr. and Mrs. Zagorodny.
I'm just really excited to see what God has in store for us.
Finally married! Woo!
Yes!
Yeah! Are you happy?
I'm so happy.
I'm so happy too.